London. We've got Rob Spalding joining us right now, the former U.S. Air Force Brigadier General, best-selling CEO, Semper CEO, War Without Rules. And this is a relationship probably without precedent. General, always good having you. I always notice goofy things, sir. You're the international expert. I notice where people are seated versus each other. And I notice with Antony Blinken, he seemed to be at the equivalent of a football field away not when they shook hands, guys, at the table itself. Okay, make a liar out of me. But the other time when he was with Bill Gates, they were sitting right next to each other. So I'm just wondering what you make of that, or the preference that the Chinese leader clearly had for Bill Gates, not so much Antony Blinken. And furthermore, that he was kind of acting like the Wizard of Oz, where the great Oz will see you now. And I don't know what came of it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, essentially, China wants to practice suzerainty like they did during their empire. And in the case of Xi's meeting with Blinken, he didn't allow that until 45 minutes prior to the time that they met. And so what did they get in concession? It's important to note that Xi Jinping said they gave us some things, but he wouldn't say what they were. And of course, Blinken wasn't forthcoming as well. So this very much looks like, and I think you're correct in, we're genuflecting to China. I'm concerned about what we might have given away in order to get that meeting with Xi.
You know, Vladimir Putin holds talks like this. Now, a lot of that was in the right after COVID, nightmare environment across the globe, where he would be at one end of the table and people would be, at the other end. But Xi Jinping is carrying that on in this case, where, with the exception of shaking hands with Bill Gates, but if you see the talks today when they're at this long table, that's no way to have negotiations or talk over things. Kills me because we were just showing this before. But anyway, I wonder what we are to make of that. What do you think?
Well, if you remember when Reagan was negotiating with Gorbachev over the Star Wars plan, and Gorbachev said, hey, you need to give this up if you want to have a continued relationship with us, Reagan closed his binder and got up and walked out. So there's a clear power differential going on in the relationship. And now the power differential is clearly saying, you will come to us, China, U.S., you will come to China, and you will genuflect, and you'll give us what we ask for, or we won't talk to you. Remember, they were trying to get military-to-military conversations. Now, I think we need to talk to the Chinese. We need to prevent conflict. But what we also need to understand is, it's not just a one-way relationship here. They're trying to strip mine our economy. And I think we have to be more focused on how do we grow jobs here, how do we grow productivity and protect ourselves from the Chinese. And I didn't see that in this meeting.
I think with Reagan, his was at a third-party location, of course, in Reykjavik. But this, of course, if Antony Blinken walked out, he would have been walking out in his host country. Where's he going to go? But I understand what you're saying.
No, I agree with you. This wasn't appropriate for him to walk out. But certainly what I'm trying to say is that Reagan cultivated a relationship that was appropriate for two world powers. The way that the Biden administration is treating this relationship as we're a second-rate power and they are the global power, that is not the way to get what you want from Xi Jinping.
Got it. I always learn a lot, General. Thank you for your service to this country as well. Rob Spalding, the former U.S.